Hey there. Welcome to Mental Health Monday, where we're all about taking control of our souls to reach our full potential mentally and physically. I'm Tabbi, the psychology student that is obsessed with empowering you to live a life that you love. In this episode, we're diving into what lights your soul on fire. This is the Purpose Project. This time together, I hope you have an aha moment. I hope somewhere that you say, oh, that's what I've been missing. But I especially hope that it resonates with you enough that you take action. I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank you even more for participating in this week's polls and questions. I want to go down memory lane. Do you remember when we were kids and we would go outside just to avoid helping our parents clean the house or do laundry or go grocery shopping or whatever? Do you remember those times? What did you do when you were outside? Who did you go hang out with? I remember this one summer afternoon, and it had to have been a weekend because my parents were home. And I went out with my neighborhood gang, or my friends. And at the end of my street, there was an empty lot where there was like a building or something in a parking lot, but it had been demolished. So we would go down there a lot with skateboards and music, CDs back then. You remember the little disc. Anyway, and we would just hang out because we weren't leaving the neighborhood, so we didn't really have to walk a whole lot, but we weren't anywhere near our homes. I was. Now, in this time of my life, I was not musically inclined. I wasn't sports savvy. I was just good at talking. Now, since I wasn't musically inclined and I wasn't the sports person, I never did actually learn how to skateboard. My balance is awful. But everybody wanted to help. Everybody wanted me to try. Just try, Tabby. I wouldn't do it because I knew I was going to fall. I knew I was. Still to this day, those memories light my soul on fire, but it's not for the reasons that you think. It's not because I was attention seeking. It's not because I was surrounded by people. It was because now, as an adult, I know exactly what it's supposed to feel like to be excited for something. That we're grown and we have this huge life to live with rent, mortgage, bills, kids, work, all of the things. What are you doing on Tuesday night? Is there a show or a sports channel that you have dedicated your time to? Homework because you fell behind for whatever reason? What are you doing on a Tuesday night? I'm very particular about Tuesdays because that is generally the slowest day in both retail and at home. That is the day that TV specials are highly lit up. And that's typically the day that you'll see sponsor ads from Netflix or Hulu showing up with a new show episode. Almost always will you find a new release on a Tuesday. Something that me and my wife do on a very regular basis is ask each other what our favorite part of the day was. Now, we do extend this to our children in a very similar fashion, but what is your favorite part of any day, right? So sometimes my answers vary from this right now, I'm going to bed, good night, leave me alone. That's like the best part of my day sometimes. Other times it's, oh my God, I've talked to so-and-so about such and such and there was a breakthrough. Both times, both situations, I'm learning something. Why was my day not great? What part of my day derailed me? How can I do something better? Just a simple question. What was your favorite part of today? I want you to get into the habit of asking yourself this before you go to bed, just before you close your eyes. What was your favorite part? Is there something that you can learn from? Is there something that you can repeat? I want you to figure that out. Once you figure that out, your purpose is going to start to shed light. I want you to word vomit all over me. All over me. Give me all of the sad and gruesome details of the most tragic story in your entire life. And I want to know how you overcame it. The worst part of your life is often encompassed in your purpose. In March 2022, my mental health declined, and it declined very quickly. I stopped taking care of myself, both physically and mentally. I stopped caring about my marriage, and I was a very awful, awful mother. By May 22, I drove myself to a treatment facility because the thoughts in my head were overwhelmingly calm. Now, someone once told me that was my body accepting fate, and that my brain was starting to accept fate as well. I'm so glad that my brain moves a little bit slower than my body, because that gave me the time that I needed to get where I needed to go. Now we're almost a year later. It is May 23. And my medicine that I'm on, my medical team, my routine, all of the things that play into part, they're just now starting to form. Almost a year later. The really cool thing about mental health is if you're doing the work, you will progress through the pain. In a few months ago, so we're in May, so I'm gonna say like February-ish, I was watching a New York best-selling author's Instagram stories. And I'm just clicking through her stories, and I said out loud, very physically, I wish I had your life. Gross. I had to figure out a way to change that mindset, because I had already progressed enough to know that was ick vibes. Because I knew that I needed a mindset shift. I had to dig deep, and I went into my inner child. And if you have children, or if you remember your childhood, children just want to know why. So I just started asking myself, well, why can't you? Why can't you do this? But why? But why? And I did that very literally for about a whole month. And then I mustered up the courage and just started talking. I started to share very personal, intimate, vulnerable facts. Like I hallucinate. I hear, I see, I feel. And I talk about it. And the more that I talk about it, the clearer my soul becomes. The more you start talking about that scary thing, that scary, tragic story, the more that you start to make sense of it, the clearer your purpose or your passion will start to shed light. You know the saying, not all heroes wear capes? That became my inner freaking motto. I wanted to save people, and it works out because I'm type A save a hope personality. I started talking about my mental health, yes, but I did even more. I started reaching out to people, and about 50% of you I've already spoken to. I've already gotten some sort of rapport, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this because I have a small audience. I know I'm not going to be able to keep that up. Decided to start talking about my mental health and my struggles or challenges. I was terrified. I'm still scared 98% of the time, I just do it with my eyes closed. I say things as if I'm talking to myself, which I do. I started small with something that I was comfortable with, which is emotional irregularity. That basically means that I go from extremely happy to extremely sad. Now it differs from bipolar because it happens quickly. It's, checking the mail and finding a birthday card, walking in the house and smelling burnt ramen and being pissed. So it just happens very quickly, quite like Texas weather. I led that into talking about hallucinations. Now, hallucinations cover all 5 senses. So you have your eyes, so you hear things. You have your nose, you smell things. You have your ears, you hear things. You have touch, so you feel things. And taste, something is just in your mouth. I started talking about these things, and a lot of people didn't realize. So a very common hallucination is in pregnant women when you smell something that's not there. Now, when I was pregnant with Jack, which is the baby, I was smelling electrical fires. And I told Jess I would wake her up in the middle of the night saying something's on fire, I smell it. And she wouldn't smell anything. I didn't know that was a hallucination until I started talking to my doctors a few months ago. The most incredible feeling knowing that you no longer feel alone, because the feeling of you not being alone also gives me the feeling that I'm not alone, that my hallucinations or my erratic emotional state, that I'm not alone. So share your story and you're gonna find people that you didn't know you needed in your life. The other day on Instagram, I asked a very vague question. What does the world need more of? And I received so many different answers, from more love to me. But one answer that's just stuck with me is from Stephanie M. And she said, Jesus. I asked her what she could do personally that would bring Jesus into the world more. And oh my goodness, her answer was incredible. She said, to be his essence. Now, in this entire conversation, I could just feel the passion coming off of her fingertips. So much so that we started doing voice texting and we were just talking. Now, I can absolutely say that the passion I heard, the passion I felt, it's not a hallucination. I know that her religion is going to take her deeper into her purpose or her passion, and it's probably going to happen this year. I'm going to take you back to our childhood again. Do you remember those commercials where it would have like a puppy or a person? It's for 99 cents a day, you can save this life, or feed a family, or blah, blah, blah. Do you remember that? It had the sad eyes and the sad music and the poor living conditions. It was just all so sad, but it grabbed your attention, but not in the way that you thought it would. For me personally, I had to either change the channel or turn the TV off or do something because I could not watch those commercials. To this day, I still don't listen or watch those commercials. But did you feel like you needed to save all of the puppies, or you had this perfect plan of how you could bring a person into your home even though you were like 8 years old? That feeling that you have, the fire inside of you as this 8-year-old child coming up with this plan to save the puppies or adopt a child and care for them so that they would have more than one meal a day. That is passion. And if your body just had little tingles, because mine did, if your body had little tingles, I just resonated with you and you need to dive into that. Let's dive into that. So the tingles actually are your central nervous system going into shock. because your brain is meant to protect you. So whenever you get excited about doing something different, the tingles, it's your body saying, whoa, stop it, don't do that. But you need to do that. I'm getting tingles again. My body's telling me, stop it, stop it, stop it. You're tattletelling on me. And, there they go. You need to keep doing it, because when you start fighting through, when you start to notice, like, my body is trying to tell me to stop, suddenly I'm getting cold. So my body is trying to shut me down. But here I am, I'm still doing it. And you can too. Like, you can work through all of the cold and the tingles. You can work through all of it. Matter of fact, you need to. You need to get to the point where you're freezing and your legs hurt, but you're not failing. Only you can set the level of failure and success. I'm already successful, and I'm sitting here shivering because my body just went into shock. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe, you know what? I went into shock. Has your body gone into shock? Have you ever felt the tingles? Let me know. Now, I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast, and she started talking about the sweet spot exercise. Now, this is a series of questions like, what are you good at? Where are people putting their money? Just different things. And in this segment, she said to send 10 texts to friends that you trusted. And this is very important, so stick with me here. Exercise is a room for growth. It's not for comfort, so you don't want to pick people that you already know what they're going to say. Now, when I did this exercise, I was very picky. I chose new friends, old friends, men, women, 20-something, 40-something. I was picky because I needed answers from all around the spectrum. Because mental health challenges isn't just one group. It varies from 7 years old, 5 years old, all the way up. So I asked different walks of life. I even asked my child, just so I could have a perspective. One thing that I received quite a bit of was, you're a good friend and you know how to cheer people up. I didn't know I was good at those things because no one's ever told me, but I took it. And actually, I saved all the responses because it's things I already knew from the perspective of someone different. And sometimes that's just what you need. So I saved these responses, and I refer back to them whenever I feel like I'm missing a piece. Like right now, I'm working on a workshop which will be launched in July, so you're going to want to make sure you're there. But I've hit a couple of roadblocks, and I've went back to my what are you good at list, and it's like, oh, why am I thinking so hard about these things? It's right here, it's listed. You already knew what to do. So I want you to do the same thing. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't even have to be drawn out. You can say that you're asking other people too, because then that takes pressure off. I believe I said something along the lines of, I'm sending the same exact text to 9 other people. I need to know from your point of view, what am I good at? And I literally copy, pasted to 9 other people. Everybody answered. Everybody. And there were no wrong pieces. And that I was picky is because not everybody is going to see what you see. We both have different visions, right? I could be 20/20, you could be 20/50. So I was very particular. I didn't ask anybody that I felt was comfortable in comfort. So I went to people who had like-minded mindsets so that they could give me a perspective of something different. Because if I were to ask someone who was comfortable, I would have gotten a, oh, well, I don't know answer. I know I would have. Now, I'm not going to say that I did no wrong, but I will say that I'm leading by example. And when I say to be picky, that's exactly what you should be. I made a very small mistake of trusting someone that I had known for basically my entire life. Someone whom I love and someone who I trusted immensely. Now, the response that I was given just gave me a sign saying, okay, this person isn't seeing what you're seeing. This person is truly comfortable right where you are. In no way does this person think that you could do more because the both of you came from the same spot. So I took that and ran with it. I made moves within my life and I placed boundaries, and I even cut off a few people who have a mindset that was damaging to me. Now, I will say that I am smack in the middle of healing. So it's extremely important for me to have stable friendships, to have connections with people that promote growth, and some friendships got left behind because they were damaging. Now, I'm not going to go telling you to go cut off all those people, because that's not something I can tell you to do. It's something that you are called to do. But when that time comes, just know that you are making the best decision for yourself at that time. And a decision isn't like a permanent ending, right? Because even if a bridge is burned, a bridge can be rebuilt. When you find yourself bored on a Tuesday night, I want you to take that as a wake-up call. I want you to honor the wake-up call. And this time, I hope there was an aha moment. I hope that you walk down memory lane remembering what brings you true joy. Or at very bare minimum, I hope that you have a question or two for me. Text your friends. Ask them what you're good at, even if you think you already know the answer. Remember, confidence is embodied in action. So have courage to take action and watch your soul light up. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others.